Peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 187. That one that I like to review tonight is Main Source's debut album titled Breaking Atoms, released in 1991. For those who don't know who Main Source is, they're a Queens-based hip hop group, specifically from Flushing, Queens. Which consists of three members. The three members are Large Professor, who's the head honcho, lead rapper. Well, is the only rapper because I don't think the other two rap. Sir Scratch and K Cut, who both of them are brothers. But they're from Toronto. They're from Canada. So, but anyways, I believe they met in high school, and that's how they came together and stuff like that. Large Professor himself, he was like an intern at a record, like a studio, and he was under the tutelage. Like he was pretty much like the protege of the late great Posse. Posse, he's a producer. So, yeah, he was a super producer from New York, back in the 80s and stuff like that. Notable producer, which I feel like most people should know that name. But for those that don't know, like I said, he's a super producer from New York. He worked with people like Ultramagnetic MCs, Supernova Cat, I think his name is. I don't remember. It's a group. I think they're from Queens themselves, but Supernova, some Cat or whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. They worked with Eric B. and Rakim. They worked with Organized Confusion, Rakim, stuff like that. Lost Professor, excuse me. And fast forward, Posse would teach Lost Professor how to make beats on the SP1200, teach him how to sample, how to cut, chop records, how to filter and stuff like that. And pretty much how you see Lost Professor produce is what he got from Posse. Tragically, in 1989, Posse was murdered. He got killed, and to this day, the murder is still unsolved, unfortunately, and which I think is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to hip hop, they don't work as hard. I think they kind of like not be focused on it. You know what I'm saying? Prime example: Tupac, Biggie, Jam Master Jay, Big L. Even though the Big L one is murky because they're saying like they found the killer but he got killed, but then there's people that saying that wasn't the person that killed Big L. So a little murky there, you know what I'm saying, like murky water. But anyways, getting back to that, that same year in 1989, I think he died in 89 and 90. But anyways, in 89, Main Source had dropped a 7-inch called Think. Think was the A side, I believe, and Atoms was the B side, which was okay. It wasn't their best, but it was like the introduction to the world and stuff like that. And in 1990, it was a very busy year for Large Professor. That same year, he worked on 3 major albums. At least to me, they were. And those 3 albums were Intelligent Hoodlum's debut album, aka Tragic Gaddafi. But in an interview, Tragic Gaddafi was saying that Intelligent Hoodlum was never my name. What happened was the record labels and the media was calling me Intelligent Hoodlum. My concept, as in my philosophy, I think it's because I guess Tragic Gaddafi wouldn't be marketable. You know what I'm saying? Because around that time, that's when like the Iraq War happened, was in the fruition of starting and stuff like that. So it just wouldn't be as marketable and stuff like that. So they kept it Intelligent Hoodlum. He wasn't even called Tragic Gaddafi. He was just called Tragedy. But like I said, it wouldn't be marketable. So for political reasons, they kept it Intelligent Hoodlum. And then after that, he worked on Coogee Rap's and DJ Polo's second album, Water Dead or Alive, which to me is their best album, my favorite album for them. And he worked on Eric B. and Rakim's Let the Rhythm Hit that came out that same year in 1990. Now, there's some controversy with those 2 albums that I mentioned. Notably, Coogee Rap and Rakim's album. Reason being is because Eric B was getting the production credit on those two albums, but in fact, Lost Professor did the production on that album. So there was a lot of snake shit going on with that, you know what I'm saying? So, but the heads know, you know what I'm saying? And then when you listen to Lost Professor production around that time, you can tell that he made the beats and stuff like that. So, I thought that was kind of interesting because when you listen to the first Eric B and Rakim albums, the first two, like the beats kind of sound similar. So, and then there's no evidence of, you know, Eric B making beats or anything like that. Like when you do interviews, like I never heard an interview asking like what drum machine or sampler did you use around that time. So, but then I heard that Rakim was doing the beats, so it's like one of those things. But getting back to this album, they eventually came out with this album right here. Main Source Breaking Down was released in 1991. All right, there are 4 singles of the album. The singles are Just Hanging Out, Looking at the Front Door, Peace Is Not the Word to Play, and he got not that song. Watch Roger do his thing. Those are the 4 singles of the album. All right. Let's show you what the album looks like. Apologizes. I had the album for a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's old as dirt. It's actually the first pressing. Nothing, very simple. You know, just the track listing and stuff like that. This is what they look like, stuff like that. Dope album cover. So I got it used, you know what I mean? Because at one point this album was out of print for years, but then they re-released it, I think like back in 2000, like almost 10 years ago. So pretty interesting. So you guys know how I get down. I'm gonna go through some of the tracks like I usually do. Alright, track 1 is Snake Eyes. What I got from that song right there is he talks about how you have to be careful who you let in your crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, choose your friends wisely because you might have that one friend that is secretly a hater. You know what I'm saying? They see you having success, but he might feel like, yo, like, I should get just as much success as him. But you're not putting as much work as that person that's making more money than you. I mean, it's only right. If you put in the work, yeah, that person should get the money. But if you're not, you're just sitting there and just expecting, you know, niggas to give you money. Yeah, they'll probably be nice enough to give you money, but if you're not putting in that work, then you shouldn't get paid. So he talks about that whole never bite the hand that feeds you. But, you know, you might have that friend that might just do that. So that's what he talks about. And in the second verse, it's a subliminal diss towards Eric B. Just based on the stuff that I was mentioning about the Cool G Rap and the Eric and the Rakim albums and stuff like that was released in 1990. So he talks about that. All right. Then we got track 2, Just Hanging Out, which is the 3rd single of the album. Pretty dope song right there. Dope video. What I got from that song right there is that he talks about, you know, just all these rappers that try to sound like him, talk like him, just biting his own steez, and he hates that, and that's what he talks about in the first verse. In the second verse, he just talks about, you know, chilling with Nas, and then, you know, and then like him hanging out with Pete Rock, making beats and going digging and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So he pretty much bigs up Nas and Pete Rock. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I just wish hip hop would still do that. You know, just give each other compliments. I mean, I didn't say hip hop is a competition, but you know, it's always good to, you know, big people up, man. Like, especially with men. Like, you know, men need to compliment each other more, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like, you know, just like shooting people down, you know what I'm saying? I hate that. Let me get my swig of Henny and Coke. Excuse me. Then we got track 3, Looking at the Front Door, which is actually the first single of the album. Love that song, very relatable. I'm pretty sure you guys could relate to that. In this song, he just talks about a relationship that he had where double standards came into play when it came to the relationship. Where, prime example, you know, you have a girlfriend or vice versa, you know, whatever, and she gets mad when you go out with your boys and hang out, but then when she goes out, it's okay for her to hang out with her friends, but it's not okay for the boyfriend to go out. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things. It's just like a prime example of that. And it's just all the bullshit that goes through with that. And I could definitely relate to that, you know what I'm saying? But and it's just like the constant arguments they would have and stuff like that. Definitely relatable. I could definitely relate to that. That's Looking at the Front Door. Track 4, Lost Professor. It's it's pretty much, you know, it's a braggadocio track, just saying like how he's the best producer / MC, nobody can touch him and stuff like that. And at that time, I could definitely agree, especially around 1990, 91, because nobody else was doing what he was doing. So I could definitely agree with that notion. So that's Lost Professor. Track 5, Just a Friendly Game of Baseball. Pretty dope song right there. In that song, he actually uses the baseball analogy to describe police brutality. Best way to end. I mean, that's so dope, man. It's such a dope concept song right there. Love that track. Very dope. Uses a very famous break and stuff like that. I can't name it because, you know, sample, you know, clearances and stuff like that. You guys already know what happened to me for one of my videos. I got, you know, the copyright and stuff like that. So, but yeah. Just Friendly Game of Baseball, a pretty dope track. Track 6, Search, Scratch and Cut. It's just you know, both of them doing scratches over an instrumental and stuff like that. You know, it's pretty cool. Track 7, Peace Is Not the Word to Play. That's actually the 4th and last single of the album. Pretty dope song. I love the beat for that shit. What I got from that song is that, you know, self-explanatory, you know, how people kind of misuse the word peace, you know, because, you know, you have this one street dude or one gangster that will go out and do dirt, you know, kill niggas or sell drugs or pimp girls, whatever, do, you know, whatever dirt you do, but then you have the word in order to say peace. So it doesn't like the commercialization, if that's even a commercialization of the word peace. You know what I mean? And because, you know, him being a 5%er, you know, they take, you know, certain things to heart. You know what I mean? Like, they just, you know, just certain words get misconstrued. Like, it's kind of like one of those things, like, once it gets out of a certain circle or a certain community and it gets commercialized, it kind of like, it's almost like perverted almost, you know what I mean? And like, it kind of loses its essence, its significance. And that's what I got from that song, Peace Is Not the Word to Play. I mean, dope song, love the video, dope shit right there. That's what I got from that song right there. Track 8, Vamos a Rapear, which is actually is a translation. Vamos a Rapear means, talks about, it's a Spanish translation for let's rap or whatever. In this song, you know, he just talks about, you know, MCs that try to, you know, just try to get on just to be, and, you know, just to get rich. Just like how with today, you know, like, you got all these mumble rappers that don't rap for the heart. They don't rap with, you know, they don't rap with passion. It's the passion's not there. You can tell they're just doing this for a quick rich scheme. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Trying to get money and stuff like that. And, you know, he talks about that, but just saying people not being true to themselves, man. And that's what I got from that joint right there. So, but yeah, that's Vamos a Rapear. That was a pretty decent song. Track 9, He Got So Much Soul. We Don't Need No Music. Very, very dope song right there. Definitely that's another braggadocio track right there, pretty dope. Track 10, Live at the Barbecue. That's a Posse cut which features Nas, Joe Fatal, Akinelli, and Lost Professor. Those are the people. Those are the guest appearances on the group. I mean, in the song, excuse me. And that was actually Nas's first appearance on Wax's was Akinelli, and I think Joe Fatal as well. So, yeah, Nas definitely stole the show on that song right there. I mean, very, 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 very dope, man. And Yeah, he definitely did his thing, man, and that's pretty much was his introduction to the world, and as well as Back to the Grill Again, which was featured on what's that album? The MC Search album, Return to Prada, which came out in 1992. But yeah, very dope song. It's a classic song. I mean, everybody did their thing on that song, man. Very, very dope. And watch Roger do his thing. I believe that is the second single of the album. Yeah, that's the second single. I'm pretty sure you guys could relate to it, where like you got the cool kids and you got the nerds. And you know, you got the cool kids that always be like the popular kids, that always be dicks and assholes. They get all the girls and stuff like that. And so Roger was this cat from the hood who didn't hang out. He didn't, you know, he just kind of kept to himself. And the kids on the block would be like, oh, this nigga's a sucker, yo. Like, yo, he always stayed home and read books and always study, man. He doesn't want to come out with us. Like, he think he too good. But then that dude usually ends up being the successful one. The one that, you know, is making all the money, you know, ends up getting a nice house, get the beautiful girl, get the nice car, all that. The same niggas that's, you know, that was clowning him, they're fucking working, you know, Home Depot, these blue collar jobs, and, you know, loser type niggas, man. And that's what I got from the song Watch Roger Do His Thing. So it's one of those things where the nice guy finished last kind of thing. That's what I got from that joint right there. So that's actually pretty cool. And the last track, Just a Friendly Game of Baseball. This is the bonus version. This is like the track called Quest Remix. I didn't really care for that one. I didn't like the beat. I think they should have just cut that out of the album. I would have been good with 11 tracks. Or if they were gonna put, you know, another song, I would have just, you know, put a different song, whatever. At least put like Think, the song Think from 1989. But I don't think I think it would have fit on this album. But anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. My verdict of this album, classic album right here. I mean, this album right here definitely opened the doors for a lot of producers / MCs. You know, as far as like them putting their face out in the door and stuff like that, like putting it in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you had like Diamond D, you know, people like Pete Rock and stuff like that. But Lost Professor, like he kind of like finessed it. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you know, he mastered that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Lost Professor doesn't get the shine that he deserves when it comes to that. When it comes to production, even when he raps, because he's a dope MC, he can spit. You know, I fucks with him, man. But this is a classic album. I'm not sure this was on. I'm not sure if this is under the 5 mics rating. I'm not sure, but it should be, because this is a groundbreaking album right here, man. Very dope. Right after this album, they broke up because I think Lost Professor was saying how you know, Sir Scratch and K Cut's mother was their manager at the time when they were a group. And Lost Professor was pretty much saying like how she was like cock blocking. She was kind of like making decisions without, you know, their consent and stuff like that. He didn't like that. So he was like, you know what, fuck that. I'm leaving the group. And they was actually supposed to drop an album back in 1992. They were working on an album called The Science, but those songs never. They scrapped the album. But I think like right after that, that's when they broke up and stuff like that. But in '92, they dropped a single called "Faking the Funk" with Nick the Exotic, classic song right there. Yeah, man, very dope. But some of the songs on The Science, they're on YouTube. I posted that in the description box. Isn't bad quality, but it's the best you can do. You know what I'm saying? But I would have loved to hear that album, man, in its completed form, man. But that would have been so dope. And then in 1994, they came out with another album called "Fuck What You Think." But Lost Professor wasn't in the group. They replaced him with Mikey D from Queens. Mikey D, legendary MC from Queens, that battled L Cool J and stuff like that. So, but yeah, man, classic album right here, very dope, love it, highly recommend it. If you can find it, pick it up. Must have in your collection. Alright, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed that review. Be easy and stay safe. Alright, peace.